What up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. Week 6 USFL action. Gonna get recapped here shortly. Logan will be on in a bit. We got some NFL news, league meetings going on in Minnesota right now. So we had some rule approvals there and some other stuff happening in Minneapolis. We got some signings. And then we'll end the show with our AFC East draft recap with some grades. Hopefully better than mine. But starting off here in the USFL Week 6 action, Memphis Showboats getting the dub. 3 straight for Todd Haley's crew, and the defense has been absolutely lights out the last 3 weeks. 10, 10, and 0 allowed in those 3 wins. 22-zip shutout of the Pittsburgh Maulers. Troy Williams led the game in passing, 13 of 19, 68.4%, 145 yards, 1 pick. Cole Kelly, he had the only offensive touchdown in this game for the Showboats, 14 of 24, 58.3%, 135 yards, 1 touchdown, 10 carries for 21 yards. And then James Morgan also came into this game for Pittsburgh, 9 of 19, 47.8%, 98 yards, 2 picks. Turnovers were prevalent all day for Pittsburgh. They really struggled with giving the ball over to Memphis. I was very surprised, happily surprised. Jawan Washington had a nice game on the ground, 20 carries, 71 yards. Not a great average, but the total yardage I thought was nice for a team that really has struggled running the ball without Alex Collins the last couple games. Maulers wide receiver Isaiah Henney had a 100-yard performance in this one, 8 catches, 103 yards on 11 targets. But the man of the game was Mr. Dillon. Memphis wide receiver Derek Dillon, 3 catches, 61 yards on 3 targets. And then the play of the year so far, 109-yard missed field goal returned for a touchdown. Chris Blewett right at the end of halftime was kicking a 59-yarder, ended up short. Dillon tiptoed the back line of the end zone, took it back to the house, 109 yards for a USFL record, and tying the NFL record by Jacoby Jones in the Super Bowl, I believe. Vinny Papali scored the offensive touchdown from Cole Kelly, 3 catches, 40 yards, a touchdown on 5 targets. Defensively, solid game for Chiavas Zeno, the one of the top tacklers in the league for Pittsburgh. 16 tackles, 11 of them solos, 2 tackles for loss. But my defensive player of the game is actually going to be his teammate, Maulers defensive lineman Boogie Roberts, 8 tackles, 6 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. And then want to also mention Alex Kessman, kicker for the Showboats, 3 of 3 field goals and 1 of 2 on extra points. Showboats +2.5 went outright, under 41.5. All 4 unders hit this week, which was kind of weird to see. The Stallions getting to 4-2, 27-13 over the Panthers. Josh Love for Michigan, 20 of 34, 58.8%, 222 yards, 1 touchdown. Surprised Eric Berrier didn't play in this game. I mean, the Panthers were in it for the most part. They just could not hold the Birmingham offense down enough because Alex Magoo was on one, 19 of 24, 79.2%, 133 yards. So not a lot of yards for the completions. but 2 touchdowns passing, 11 carries, 82 yards, and a rushing touchdown as well. 3 total for Magoo. And then the running game outside of Magoo was also very good. CJ Marable, 18 carries, 100 yards, 3 catches, 16 yards, and a touchdown. You also had his running mate, Zaquandre White, 3 carries, 8 yards, 1 fumble for him, but he caught a touchdown as well, 2 catches, 30 yards, and a score. Another 100-yard receiving game in this one. Panthers wide receiver Trey Quinn, 7 catches, 108 yards on 10 targets. And then Cole Hicatini also catching a touchdown from Josh Love. Defensively, I'm going to go with the bottom guy there. Birmingham corner Lorenzo Burns, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. Heck of a game by Panthers linebacker Frank Ginda, though. 18 tackles, 7 solos, a half a sack, and 1 forced fumble. Stallions cover -6. Told y'all that was going to happen. Under 44.5. On Sunday, we had the Stars taking the lead in the North Division, the only team to sit at 3-3 through 6 weeks, with New Jersey, Michigan, and Pittsburgh all at 2-4. Case Cookus, 16-10 win over the Breakers here. So back-to-back losses for New Orleans, 10 points in each of those. Case Cookus for the Stars, though, 17 of 26, 63%, 238 yards, 2 picks, 9 carries, 43 yards. Not a great offensive day for the Stars, but they got help from other areas in this one, which we'll talk about. But Breakers quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson, 22 of 38, 57.9%, 190 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle. The Stars defense played outstanding. The Stars offensive line was actually really good in this game. Gave Case Cookus time to throw for the most part. West Hills led the game in rushing for New Orleans, 18 carries, 74 yards, 5 receptions, 30 yards on 6 targets. Stars wide receiver Corey Coleman led the game in receiving, 6 catches, 76 yards on 8 targets. And Breakers wide receiver Johnny Dixon catching the only offensive touchdown in this game, 4 catches, 32 yards, 1 touchdown on 5 targets. Defensively, it's going to be a guy that's not on here. I forgot to put him on. Stars corner Amani Dennis. He had the essentially game-sealing touchdown here for Philly. Well, it ended up being the difference. He went 4 tackles, all of them solos, 1 pick, 1 pass deflection, and that interception was a 72-yard pick 6. So that was the play of the game in this one. Again, not a lot of offense, but the Philly getting it done and taking the 1-game lead over the other 3 teams in the North. Stars +8, they win outright, and under 47.5 easily. Did not see the under hitting that one. Gamblers also winning 16-10 over the Generals. Kyle Lauletta got the start, played the entire game for New Jersey. 17 of 30, 56.7%, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 4 carries for 24 yards. It was interesting. They didn't play DeAndre Johnson. We weren't sure if he was still banged up or what. So it was interesting for Jersey not to play Johnson in this game, seeing that they lost there. Gamblers, though, Kenji Bahar returned from injury this week, 19 of 29, 65.5%, 130 yards. Not a lot to go for was going well for Bahar in this one. But they did enough. They got the win. Their defense played outstanding and just eked one out. Jersey scored late. That's why it was really 16-3 in the early fourth quarter. And then Jersey went on a long, like 5.5, 6-minute drive at the end. And then didn't convert the 4th and 15 to give Houston the game. But what's up, Logan?
Hey, dude, how you doing? What jersey do we have on today?
This is Jets Tim Tebow.
Oh, excellent. What a pull.
Yeah. Had to wear it for the AFC East recap.
Love it.
Mark Thompson led the game in rushing here, 22 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown, 4 catches, 8 yards on 5 targets. Continues to dominate. He's got 9 touchdowns through 4 games played and ties Generals running back Darius Victor's USFL lead from last year. Darius Victor had 9 rushing touchdowns in 10 games. And Mark Thompson's only played 4 out of the 6 for Houston, and he has 9 already. So, yeah, big season for Mark Thompson and the Gamblers so far in a 3-way tie for first place in the South Division. Birmingham, Houston, New Orleans all at 4-2, Memphis at 3-3 on a 3-game win streak, though. Not a lot for Darius Victor and the Generals run game. 10 carries, 38 yards, 1 catch for 9 yards here. Houston wide receiver Justin Hall led the game in receiving. He's continuing to tear it up as well. 6 catches, 59 yards on 10 targets. Alonzo Moore caught the Generals' lone touchdown here. 5 catches, 44 yards, a touchdown on 6 targets. And defensively, I got to go with Gamblers linebacker JT Tyler. 5 tackles, 3 solos, 1 tackle for loss on 3 pass deflections. And also want to mention Gamblers kicker Nick Vogel. Wouldn't have won it without him. 3 of 3 on field goals, and he made his only extra point as well. 10 points for Nick Vogel. Houston plus 5.5 wins outright, under 47.5. Yeah, again, the betting lines have been pretty crazy here in the USFL. 3 out of 4 dogs win outright this week, and all 4 unders, like I mentioned earlier, hit. College football news, just one transfer portal thing. UCF quarterback Joey Gatewood has committed to Louisville. He started his career at Auburn, went to Kentucky, played wide receiver and quarterback at Kentucky, went to UCF in 2021, played quarterback and wide receiver, and then now he is going to Louisville, and we'll see what he plays for Jeff Brown there. NFL news, some general stuff with the Raiders going on. Tom Brady officially announced as a minority partner with Mark Davis and the Las Vegas Raiders. I'd be interested to see what number that is, what percentage he has. But I don't know. I don't know if Mark has kids. I assume he does. Most of the owners do. But I'm just saying, what if what if there's a succession plan and that Tom Brady will someday be the owner of the Raiders?
The adopted son.
Yeah. I could see it happening. Yeah. Also with the Raiders, Josh Jacobs has a new number, cutting off the 2 in his number from last year, from the first all years of his NFL career so far. He's worn 28. He is switching to 8 this year. So any Raiders fans, just cut out the 2, or like I don't know if you can like cut the stitches out, and then like you'll just have the 8. You don't have to buy a new jersey.
Duct tape. Just block it out. It's silver anyway, so
right. Just get a Sharpie. The Chargers Austin Eckler saga is over, I guess. I don't know how it's really over with this little. I think it's a little move. People are making it out to be like a big move. I think it seems like a little move. They have added almost $2 million to Austin Eckler, $2 million in incentives to Austin Eckler's contract this year, his last year of his deal, so that he will stay in LA. And again, it's just like, it's not guaranteed money. Like, I don't know why this would make a big difference for him to stay, unless they're like really easy incentives.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'd have to look at the incentives, but I think it's a good way to creative decision making on the part of the Chargers. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a not a big concession for a guy who was, he demanded a trade earlier this offseason, right? Or he requested a trade. So I don't know. Maybe he took a look at his market and felt a little differently. But either way, I think it's a good team decision.
Yeah, I mean, they really don't have another option. They didn't draft a running back. And they've drafted running backs the last couple of years that really haven't been that exciting. In Joshua Kelly, Larry Roundtree. So all right, let's talk about the league meetings going on in Minneapolis. So we have some new rules. The third quarterback rule was passed by the league. I believe it was I can't remember the votes on that one. But so teams will now be allowed to have a third quarterback active without burning a roster spot on an active roster spot on game day. So there's still going to be technically 46 active on game day. But they'll have this third string QB available. Has to be on the 53. So that's the caveat to not being counting against the active game roster. Has to count against, he has to be on the 53 though. Cannot be a practice squad call up. And the third QB can only play if the top 2 QBs are injured. You cannot bench your top 2 and then say, oh yeah, we're putting the third guy in. So yeah, Christian McCaffrey, as I think Ian Rappaport said, we'll never have to warm up at quarterback again. So that's
never
good.
say never.
But the thing is like, for one, how many times will we see this? Not a lot. And for 2, there's not. I don't even think half the league carries 3 quarterbacks on a normal basis on their active roster, anyways.
I think there was a perfect tweet that I saw that summed up this rule change, and I think it's a good rule change. Like, it's fine, it is what it is. But like you said, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. And the tweet was, I mean, how did the Chargers, expect to win with the guy who was behind Josh Johnson? You know what I mean? Like,
49ers, yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right. The talent level drops a lot normally. And then, yeah, like I said, I don't know if even half the league carries 3. Because you need other positions like so. Also passed this one. I remember the vote was 28-4 for flexing Thursday night football. So for this, teams have to have 28 days notice, which is crazy. A whole month in advance you have to know. That's a lot. I mean, I understand scheduling has to go down, but at the same time, they flex Sunday night football. I know it's like moving a game to a different day, but I don't know. To know that the best teams are going to be the best teams a month later, I just don't see how you can know that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good thing from a player safety perspective, and like how coaches can manage conditioning and things like that, knowing that they might have a shorter week coming up and that they'll have more. Because I mean, it is a big deal when that schedule release happens and you see, you can kind of see, okay, like where's our road stretch going to be? Where's our home stretch going to be? Where is the short weeks, the longer weeks, things like that. So I like it in that respect, but like you said, from an entertainment perspective, it's going to be hard to tell, which teams are going to be good that far out.
I think that's why Roger Goodell quoted on it saying it's going to be used judicially, if at all. So, I mean, I could see at least this first year of it not being used at all, I think. Because when you look at so it's only in effect weeks 13 through 17. And when you look at the games, they're pretty good. Week 13, Seahawks at the Cowboys. Week 14, Patriots at the Steelers. 15 is Chargers at the Raiders. 16, Saints at the Rams. And then 17, Jets at the Browns. I think the worst one of those is probably the Saints at the Rams. So, yeah, I mean, I think the games are pretty decent for those weeks anyways right now, that I don't see a flex having to occur. I mean, obviously I don't have the rest of the schedule of what those weeks look like ahead in front of me, but yeah. Also can only use the flexing twice in a season, and teams can't play 2 away Thursday night games in one season. So yeah, that is Thursday night flexing. And the last rule that was approved here, to what I've heard is many of the special teams coaches' chagrin, all fair catches and touchbacks now on kickoffs will be placed at the 25, like college rules, instead of the 20.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big difference. The fair catch thing, I see, that's the thing. I haven't heard anything with that, though. I'm guessing that it's the same as the college now, that you can fair catch in the field of play and it'll go to the 25.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I guess I don't know really what the rationale is. It seems to be to like incentivize not returning the kicks and thereby hopefully minimizing like some injuries. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like to address that issue, you should just, I don't know, adopt some things that some other like leagues like the XFL are doing, to make it safer while still keeping it an integral part of the game. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of an incentive thing. NFL said their system, their model said that it will reduce kickoffs from 38% to 31% returns anyways. And it will reduce concussions on those plays by 15%. So that's their rationale on why. Again, I don't know how moving a touchback up 5 yards correlates to the play actually occurring, but I don't know. I'm not a data analyst.
Yeah.
Also announced at the league meetings, the owners, not finalized yet, but expected to extend Commissioner Goodell through 2027. So 3 more. Yeah, I think 3 more years. But I think he was signed through 24. But yeah, that's just whatever. Again, I thought this current contract was his last one, but then they're like, nope, we're extending him. Okay. The 2025 NFL draft will be here in Wisconsin. Green Bay awarded the 25 draft. Of course, it'll be the year after I am gone, Logan, unless the Packers hire me, and then I'll be there.
You'll have to come back anyways, dude. We'll party it up in Green Bay. But I'm beyond excited about this. Obviously gonna be there. And there's talk about the whole, infrastructure thing. The reaction to Green Bay getting it was obvious. It was exactly what I expected it would be if they ever were awarded it. A lot of national media guys kind of pushing that, small town, big town narrative. But they've really built up the infrastructure in Green Bay a ton over the last 5 years. And in part specifically for the draft. Mark Murphy, the president of the Packers, has talked several times over the years that they've been trying to get this event. So I think it'll be just fine. I don't think there's going to be infrastructure problems, and they'll have 2 years to also build up whatever needs to be built up. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm just excited about it.
Well, I can tell you I won't be coming if we get the BS April snow.
That is the only thing that I'm worried about is the inclement weather.
But yeah, they have enough hotels up there to hold 1 million people or whatever it is on. I think it's I forget how many they had in this year. I think it's somewhere between 600 750,000 people. So yeah. And with Green Bay, it's not going to be a lot of locals like I think it is with a lot of other cities, since the size of the city is smaller, And the other thing awarded at the league meeting yesterday, Super Bowl 60 will be once again held in Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Great place to play a Super Bowl, I guess. Sure. I think they need to put one of these events in Pittsburgh, man. I think when Peter Schrager asked or was talking about the draft getting awarded on Twitter, and he's like, think about cities that won't be awarded a Super Bowl in the next few years, and literally Pittsburgh just jumped to my mind. I was like, bro, Pittsburgh needs to hold the draft at some point, I think, too. I mean, Philly did it, so why can't Pittsburgh?
Huh.
All right, injury today announced the Seahawks corner Tariq Woolen. He underwent arthroscopic knee surgery, is out until training camp at the very earliest. So could be problematic for Seattle to start the season, maybe. But we'll see how Tariq progresses throughout the rest of the couple months until training camp. Also, I didn't write these on the thing here, but the Jets have some headlines right now. Aaron Rodgers' ankle is apparently a problem. He was off to the side, not going through drills today. But what one person mentioned, though, was a good thing was that he was still out there. And if he was really hurt, he would be inside. So I guess that's something good for Aaron Rodgers' ankle health. And also his receiver, Alan Lazard, also injured today. I can't remember what his injury was.
Yeah, he just tweeted out a little bit ago. He said that he finished practice, which went unreported, and that he's completely fine. And then he ended the tweet with, "Just got hit in the gonads."
All righty. Well, there you go. Couple more XFL to NFL signings here. One guy gets to stay home. Commanders, they signed Defenders linebacker Farad Gardner. So the former Cincinnati Bearcat gets to stay in DC, going from the Defenders to the Commanders. And then the Vikings, how about this one? They signed Defenders wide receiver Lucky Jackson. They already have a hell of a receiving core. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, and now one of the top receivers in the XFL, Lucky Jackson, going to Minnesota. So why not? If only they had a quarterback to throw to him, right?
Oh, brutal.
I'm just saying they didn't they're the ones that didn't extend him. So I'm just reading between the lines. A weird release today. The Broncos released veteran kicker Brandon McManus, 9 seasons in Denver. He has the fourth highest field goal percentage under 54 yards. Only behind Younghoe Koo, Graham Gano, and Justin Tucker. So McManus, one of the best kickers in the league. And I saw someone said, I think it was Field Yates. He quote tweeted it and said, the Dallas Cowboys should be calling McManus right now.
Yeah.
Which, I agree, but I would rather not have him in my division.
Yeah, an interesting release for sure. And I guess the only takeaway for me, in conjunction with a lot of the other moves the Broncos have made this offseason, is that this is Sean Payton's team, and he is putting his stamp on it. In his talks with ownership, there must have been a lot of control, a lot of say-so given to him. So yeah, we'll see how it plays.
Well, my thing is like, who are they going to get better? Right now, they don't have a kicker. They don't have another kicker on the roster. That's like, is he gonna? Because the Saints still have Will Lutz.
Mm-hmm.
So like if that's what Sean Payton wants, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. There's someone out there on the open market who has experience kicking in cold weather games. All I'm saying, Mason Crosby is still out there, aging like fine wine.
Well, you know what? Why not? Why not bring back Garrett Hartley? You know, he's only trying to find out how old he is. Hey, man, he's 37. Garrett Hartley can still get it done.
Uh-huh.
Super
Now
Bowl
we're thinking.
kicker.
Yep.
Hasn't played since 2014. I
That might be a problem, but
didn't even remember he played with the Browns in 2014. But all right, there you go. That's nugget of the day. Who was the Browns kicker for 2 games in 2014? Re-signing here the Seahawks. So in conjunction with the Tariq Woolen injury, now they have a cornerback that they are familiar with. Re-signed corner Artie Burns to a 1-year deal. So nice to kind of get an in and out transaction there for the off-season workouts and training camp as well. How about you mentioned him earlier, Josh Johnson back in the league with another team. It's not a new team though for him, unfortunately. He holds the NFL record, having played for 14 NFL teams. But he is back with Baltimore for the 3rd time, played with them in 2016, 2021, and now 2023. Just for reference, this is the log of the teams Josh Johnson has played for. The Buccaneers, the 49ers, the Sacramento Mountain Cats in the United Football League, the Browns, the Bengals, the 49ers for a 2nd time, Bengals for a 2nd time, Jets, Colts, Bills, Ravens, Giants, Texans, Raiders, Commanders. They were the Redskins at the time. San Diego Fleet of the Alliance of American Football, the Lions, the Los Angeles Wildcats in the original XFL in 2020, the 49ers for a 3rd time, Jets for a 2nd time, Ravens for a 2nd time, Broncos, 49ers for a 4th time, and now the Ravens for a 3rd time.
My biggest takeaway from that is that Sacramento Mountain Cats has to be the coldest name for a team I've ever heard. That is sick.
Yeah. That's how you get it. That's how you make an NFL career. Just 1-year deal. That's all I will sign every single year.
Yep. I believe Andrew Brandt calls that the Business of Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I don't think we have anything else. Actually, Brock Purdy, he can now begin throwing next week from his UCL surgery. So on the right track to play week 1, I believe.
That's going to be so interesting. That's going to be one of the biggest, I think, topics this offseason is who's going to be taking the snaps in San Fran.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was announced by Kyle Shanahan. So I think he likes Purdy. Just saying. But that's just me. Former NFL coach Joe Philbin also hired at Ohio State as an offensive analyst. So there you go. Yeah, I know you love Joe Philbin.
Big Joe Philbin guy.
All right, let's get to the end of the show here. The AFC East draft recap. I have to apologize to Chris, our guy Chris, because I asked him if he was available this Friday. Last week I asked him if he was available next Friday for the AFC East draft recap. And I don't know, I must have calculated my shows wrong because the AFC East is our next one. Doing the NFC North on Friday. But anyways, here we go. Here's the first round picks for 3 and the Dolphins' first pick of the draft in the second round. The Jets took edge rusher Will McDonald, the 4th from Iowa State, 15th. Christian Gonzalez, corner from Oregon, going to the Patriots at 17th. And then Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah, going to Buffalo at number 25. And then the Dolphins' first round pick, corner Cam Sutton out of Cam Smith, not Cam Sutton. He plays for the Steelers. Or the Lions, I should say now. Cam Smith, 51st overall to Miami. So the Jets here mentioned edge rusher Will McDonald, the 4th, Iowa State, number 15. Second round, they go center Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin, number 43. Third round, didn't have a pick there. Fourth round, offensive tackle Carter Warren, Pittsburgh, number 120. Fifth round, they go back to Pitt, get running back Israel Abanikanda, number 143. Sixth round, 2 picks, linebacker Zaire Barnes, Western Michigan, number 184. And corner Jarek Bernard Converse, LSU, number 204. And 7th round, tight end Zach Kuntz, Old Dominion, number 220. I liked the Jets draft for the most part. Top 2 guys I thought were really good. They re-signed Connor McGovern, and the Steelers fleeced them on the tackle, the last top tackle, getting there in front of the Jets to draft him with the Patriots trade back. But then, they get Joe Tippmann in the second round. He's slotted into the backup center right now. We'll see how that shakes out. But I liked Will McDonald. They needed edge rush help, which is weird because they keep signing and drafting edge rushers and they just can't hit on one, I guess. Carter Warren was a good pick. They waited till the 4th round to get the tackle. It is what it is. I loved Israel Abanikanda at Pitt. Don't love where he went. Not to New York was not a good fit for him. They already had Breece Hall coming back from injury, Michael Carter, and Zonovan Knight, who had a good rookie year last year as a undrafted free agent. And then didn't know too much about Zaire Barnes. Bernard Converse, he was so-so at LSU, I thought, anyways. But I love the Zach Kuntz thing at the end. I love that one. Tested off the charts as a 6'7" tight end, and gonna have an uphill battle to make the roster. If they keep 4 tight ends, that's the only way he's gonna make it. With the drafting of Jeremy Ruckert in the 3rd round last year, and Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzama still both there. But he's a guy, a former Penn State player, had a decent season at Old Dominion, got injured though, so really hasn't been a lot of tape because he didn't really play at Penn State and only 1 season at Old Dominion. So I like the Jets with a C+.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with them too. I like Will McDonald, but it's definitely kind of a reach in terms of the consensus board. Now, whether that amounts to anything, I don't know. But like I said, I do like Will McDonald. I think, there's a lot of promise there. I think he played out of position a lot at Iowa State because he was, their best defender and they needed him to kind of play where they needed him to. So I thought that was a fine pick. I liked the Pittman pick. Wisco guy, I think he's going to be able to push for starting center reps, but if he doesn't make it, he's really big for a center, so you can put him at guard too, probably. Just go with that route. Don't really have many strong opinions on the rest of the draft. Like you said, love Abanikanda. It's going to be interesting to see where he fits in their roster. But, the draft is, especially in the later rounds, just try to take best available and figure the rest out later. So that's fine. I think getting Zach Kuntz that late in the draft for how, you don't usually get athletic freaks in the 7th round. So like you said, even though there isn't a lot of tape on him, I think, that's a good bet to maybe see if you can develop somebody like that. I think it was a decent draft for them.
Yeah, I think where Abanikanda fits in, well, it's going to be interesting if it's going to be a battle. Him and Zonovan Knight are going to fight for that RB3 spot unless they keep 4. Because I think both of them can do the same things. Both of them are going to be pounders up the middle, in between the tackles, and both are going to return kickoffs. That's exactly what they do. The only issue that I had with the Jets draft is I would have liked them to draft a wide receiver at some point. Now, they already signed all the guys this year, Lazard, Hardman, and Cobb. They had Wilson, Corey Davis, and Denzel Mims already there. But I would have liked someone to get there, for one, to push Denzel Mims, who wanted a trade last year and didn't get it. And then for 2, to get younger, because Randall Cobb is not going to be there very, very much longer. Probably only this year. And then I don't think Corey Davis is going to be there after this year either. And Hardman's on a 1-year deal as well. So I think if they would have taken a wide receiver in one of those 6th round picks where they drafted Zaire Barnes or Jarek Bernard Converse, I think one of those 2 selections would have been a good spot for a flyer on a wide receiver, but I don't know who was there at that point. But yeah, you said you were going with C+2.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's move on to New England. They had a lot of picks, as Billy B likes to do. 1st round, corner Christian Gonzalez, Oregon, number 17. 2nd round, edge rusher Keon White, Georgia Tech, number 46. 3rd round, linebacker Marte Mapu, Sacramento State, number 76. 4th round, here's where all the picks start coming on day 3. 3 4th-rounders, center Jake Andrews from Troy, number 107. Kicker Chad Ryland, Maryland, number 112. And then guard City So, Eastern Michigan, number 117. 5th round, guard Antonio Maffei, UCLA, number 144. And then 4 6th-rounders, wide receiver Kayshon Boutte, LSU, number 187. Hunter Bryce Beringer, Michigan State, number 192. Wide receiver Demario Douglas, Liberty, number 210. Defensive back Amir Speed, Michigan State, number 214. And then 7th round corner Isaiah Bolden, Jackson State, number 245. Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, I actually really liked this Patriots draft. And I guess, the big thing for me, it starts at the top with the Christian Gonzalez pick. I am really surprised that he was the CB3 off the board. I was surprised he made it to 17. And, you know, you just, I think one of the things that I look for in kind of, DB, but especially cornerback play is how fluid you are kind of in your hips and your movements and your ability to twist and contort. And man, the dude is just smooth as butter, dude. Like I'm surprised somebody with his movement skills fell all the way to 17. And I think with the way that New England is able to develop talent on that side of the ball, I think you could be looking at a guy who's a future All Pro for them. So I think that's great. I think the Keon White pick is great. This is what Billy B likes. He likes big dudes on the edges, and that's around the range where I think Keon White is going to be a really good prospect for him to develop.
Interesting. They have him at the end.
Yeah. Yep.
3-4 the end.
So I think that the Marte Mapu pick was interesting. He kind of came on for a lot of people at the end, I think. But if I'm not mistaken, his RAS was through the roof. And, Billy B is always going to be doing that sleeper scouting. So that'll be interesting to see. And then the Packers do this strategy all the time, and I like it. Day 3, middle rounds, O-line. Like, just hammer it. Like, you're always going to need depth there because injuries are always going to come up during the season. And yeah, they followed that there. So yeah, I mean, I liked this draft for them. I also liked the Booty pick, actually. And I've been a guy who's kind of been down on Booty through this process. I think he just might not be the same player anymore post-injury. He certainly hasn't shown that he's the same player as he was on his freshman tape. And I feel like there are some questions with his, I guess, work ethic when you put together kind of his combine testing and things, but that could be injury related as well. We don't really know all of that. But I mean, a 6th-round flyer on a guy who, if he can recapture that explosiveness, I mean, you're talking about, a home run. So I think it was a good value pick there. So yeah, I mean, I like the strategy. I like the picks. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is an A draft because you look at what their roster needed and they literally got everything. I mean, and that starts with the trades to get more picks and to fill out the roster. But look, they needed corner help, starting corner help, not, CB 4, 5, and 6. But now they have like 7 corners, all the way back to Sean Wade, who is still there in New England. And Isaiah Bolden's not even on listed yet on the roster, probably because he is maybe not signed yet. I'm not sure. Or they have too many corners. I don't know why Rodney Randall Jr. is listed. I don't even know who Rodney Randall Jr. is, but okay. Yeah, and Marte Mapu, by the way, not listed at linebacker. He is listed at safety, strong safety, which they don't need, really. They have 5 safeties, actually. But I think he will play linebacker because that's what he's listed on NFL.com. I just write down what position it says. Unless I know, like if a guy's listed as DN, I write in edge and whatever. But yeah, that I think is an interesting one. Safety linebacker hybrid, maybe for Billy B. There, I'd have to see what's his Yeah, he has linebacker size, 6'3", 220.
Yeah.
So
And I think he played both at Sacramento State. Like I think they did move him around.
it's kind of weird though for a person that watches a lot of FCS ball. I didn't really know too much about Mapu. But yeah, it was weird. But yeah, Christian Gonzalez, I mean, that's a steal at 17, like you said. He's listed as the starter opposite Jonathan Jones right now. Keon Way is the guy who's getting first round hype. They get him in the second round. Again, I thought he was edge, but I guess it makes sense. 6'5", 286 is a size for a 3-4 DN. So let's talk about the special teams. Kicker and punter in the draft. 4th round, Chad Ryland. 6th round, Bryce Beringer. But they needed it. They needed both positions. They didn't have a punter. Well, they kind of did. Corliss Waitman was the only other guy. He's the other punter right now on the roster. And they had Nick Folk, who they've had for a couple of years. I guess they, just wanted to try something different. I think Beringer has a better chance of winning a job than Ryland, but Folk had missed some kicks last year, though. I do remember that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have rookie kicker and punter. I mean, that'd be something else. But yeah, they, again, like I said, they got everything they needed. When they drafted Jake Andrews, City So, Antonio Mafi, what did that do? That gave them all 3 of their interior backups. And then they went ahead and, drafted Kayshawn Booty and Demario Douglas. What does that do? That fills out the top 6 wide receivers. So they got literally everything that they needed. The only thing that I was surprised New England didn't do was go tackle. They didn't get an offensive tackle. There was all this stuff talking about, well, Trent Brown's in his 30s. How much longer is he going to play? They needed a tackle anyways because Riley Reef isn't that great at right tackle, who they signed. So that was the only thing. And the one thing that I thought was funny, guess what New England didn't draft?
Quarterback?
No, they didn't draft a running back for the first
yeah.
time in a couple years.
Yeah.
I remember we were sitting here last year and we're like, Bill, why did you have to draft Pierre Strong and what was the other guy they drafted? I don't know.
Kevin Harris.
Yeah.
From South Carolina.
Like, bro, you already drafted one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't draft one with all their boatload of picks.
Yep.
Not one running back drafted this year by Patriots. But yeah, what was your grade?
A.
Okay. Well, I know you like to do the A pluses. I go the law school grading system. A is the highest you can get. All right, let's move on to Buffalo here. First round, tight end Dalton Kincaid, Utah, number 25. Second round, guard Osiris Torrance out of Florida, number 59. Third round, linebacker Dorian Williams, Tulane, number 91. Didn't have a 4th rounder. 5th round, wide receiver Justin Shorter, Florida, number 150. Didn't have a 6th. And then 7th, they go guard Nick Broker, Ole Miss, number 230. And set corner Alex Austin, Oregon State, number 252. This is tough to grade. Not a lot of picks. 6 total, no 4th or 6th. I liked their top 3 though. Those filled all needs. The tight end one was kind of weird though with Dawson Knox already there. I mean, the way they constructed the roster this year, the signing of Damian Harris and Latavius Murray, it seems like they're going full New England. And the drafting of Kincaid, I know he's not an inline tight end, right? But it seems like they're going New England. I mean, it looks like the Bills want to, and Osiris Torrance is a freaking mauler. It seems like they want to just line up in 12 personnel and run the heck out of James Cook, Damian Harris, and Latavius Murray, and then have Josh Allen throw it over them whenever they're coming up for the run game. And then you have Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox as your, Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I really liked the top 3 picks, and I actually really love the Kincaid pick, mostly because I think that both him and Dawson Knox are going to be able to see the field at the same times, and I think neither of them are going to negate each other's production. Brett Coleman, who's an excellent follow on Twitter, does a lot of football breakdowns on YouTube. He tweeted out after the draft, he was like, I'm not worried about Dalton Kincaid taking away from Dawson Knox's production or them not being able to work together, but Gabe Davis, he might be taking some snaps away from Gabe Davis, who is very hot and cold, very, are we sure he's a wide receiver 2 for a team as competitive as the Bills? So I love the idea of Kincaid and what he can do. And if it is that they do want to establish the run, I think he'd be a perfect kind of decoy to kind of throw those kind of shadow blocks where he starts out blocking and then kind of leaks out, is able to pick up some yak. So I love that fit. And then the Osiris Torrance pick, I was mock drafting Torrance to the Bills at 27 all off season. Yeah. So for them to wait and still get him in the second, I think is outstanding value. I think he'll be a plug and play starter for them. And they needed a linebacker. And I think Dorian Williams is going to be a really good fit for them as they try to move on from Tremaine Edmonds. So yeah, I mean, I give this, I'd say, honestly, an A-.
Yeah, I'm gonna go one below or a couple below. I'm gonna go with a B. The lack of day 3 picks and the lack of kind of oomph that the day 3 picks gave me with the doubling up of guard. With 6 picks, I don't really think you have a luxury of doubling up unless there's a massive need. And I don't think that there was with what they already had at the guard position with Connor McGovern, David Edwards, and Ike Bacher and Ryan Bates were the 4 that were already there. So I don't really think they could have went. I think they could have went somewhere else on that one. And Alex Austin, actually, to get him in the 7th round, I thought was pretty solid. I thought Alex Austin a little bit higher, 4th, 5th round, maybe. But yeah, pretty solid there. But yeah, I'm going with a B. Top heavy for sure. So if those guys work out, maybe I'll move it to your A- there. And finally, the Dolphins, no 1st round pick because of a lot of things. Tampering and then Bradley Chubb trade. So yeah, no 1st round pick. The 2nd round, though, their 1st pick in the draft, corner Cam Smith, South Carolina, number 51. 3rd round, running back Devon Chain, Texas A&M, number 84. fourth, fifth did not have picks. And then 6th round wide receiver Elijah Higgins, Stanford, number 197. 7th round offensive tackle Ryan Hayes, Michigan, number 238. You are up.
Well, the lack of draft picks would normally have me grade this as like an incomplete almost. But the one pick that I absolutely love, and by itself is an A for me, Devon Achane. I have been marking him to the Dolphins all offseason because I wanted to see the Madden all-speed team. I kid you not, Devon Achane now is probably top 5 fastest players in the NFL. This is a guy that was like tenths or hundredths of a second from like qualifying for like the Olympics. Like the dude is a speed demon. Okay. He's now on an offense that features Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, 2 of the other fastest players in the NFL. And oh yeah, all 3 of them are going to be coached by one of the most creative offensive minds in the league. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to see how much stress it can put on defenses. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I didn't like this draft at all. I didn't see where they needed really any of these players. Actually, the last 2 players I think were the better picks of the first 2. Elijah Higgins, I said wide receiver. He's actually switching to tight end, which was one of the big things with his pre-draft. He was a probable switch to tight end. So that makes sense. And I mean, Elijah Higgins could be the biggest contributor of the top 4 in his rookie season. He's listed as tight end 4 right now, which makes sense, being that he's just switching. But they have nothing at tight end. I mean, Durham Smythe, Tyler Croft, Eric Saubert are their other 3. So why can't Elijah Higgins? All he really has to do, figure out how to line up in that 3-point stance and figure out how to block out of that in the run game. And I think the rest of it is fine. He's big. He has a good catch radius and can run all the routes. So, and he had a great, him and his teammate Michael Wilson had great Senior Bowl. So I think he is the best pick of the 4. The Cam Smith isn't even listed on the depth chart right now. So I don't know where he's gonna slot in. But that just made no sense to go corner. They traded for Jalen Ramsey this offseason. The rest of their corners aren't the greatest. Nick Needham, Kader Kohu had a fantastic season last year as an undrafted free agent. And special teamer Justin Bethel, Keon Crossan, former first-round pick Noah Igbenogany is still there, and Trill Williams. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it was a need. But to go 2nd round, I don't know. It didn't seem good to me. The Devon Achane thing, look, they had 3 running backs already. They re-signed their whole backfield this offseason. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., Myles Gaskin. Why did you have to go with another running back at a premium draft position when you could have gotten something that a position that maybe would have helped you better, like a pass rusher? Now, they really didn't need a lot more at the pass rush position after the Bradley Chubb trade, but I could have seen them going that or wide receiver earlier than Elijah Higgins, even though he's switching to tight end. I think wide receiver would have been a good pick in the 3rd round because I don't really like a lot of their depth. Even Cedric Wilson as number 3 isn't even that great. They have Chosen Anderson, Braxton Berrios, River Craycraft, Eric Ezukanma, who they drafted last year, as their other 4. So that, and then a tackle. They waited till Ryan Hayes. I think they needed a tackle earlier than that. Now they did kind of quell that with the Isaiah Wynn and Cedric Abuhi signings. But I think they should have focused on tackle earlier in one of those first 2 picks. So yeah, I didn't really like the draft. It's I'm gonna be nice and give it a D+.
A divided FAA household on the Dolphins draft. Yeah, I'm lukewarm on the rest of it, but because they fulfilled my ultimate draft team position crush with the Devon A-Chain pick, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt with the A.
All right. I don't know how you can give it A with only 4 picks, but okay. Just saying. So that is the show for today. Next week we'll be talking USFL week 8. We'll have the week 7 game recaps to go over, all the college football, NFL news, and then we will be finishing our draft recap series, and we're going to start another series when we start gearing up for the season. We're going to start season previews. 2 Tuesdays from now. So we'll be hopping on that train instead of looking back. We'll look forward to the season coming up. But we'll end with the NFC West next week. The just to recap, I had the Patriots number 1 in the division as an A. Bills. Bills second with a B. Jets third with a C+, and Dolphins fourth with a D+. Warriors.
I had New England as an A. I had the Dolphins as an A because of the Devon A-Chain pick. I had the Bills as an A-, and I had the Jets as a C+.
All righty. There you have it. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, FAA_bets as well. And then FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Nice short hour 15 show. Appreciate it, Logan. And we'll see you back on Tuesday.
Sir.